Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy, and today we're going to be going over the unusual explosions that have been going on the island of Maui in the past few weeks. Before we get started, if you have not subscribed yet, please do so before you leave, and like, comment, and share this video so we can let as many people know what's going on. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go over the details of what has been going on Maui regarding these explosions. So on the 8th of August of this year, that's the 1 year mark since the Lahaina fire, an explosion went off from a trash bin in Pukalani, which is in upcountry, and it ended up hitting a car. So anyways, the car was damaged, but no one was hurt. And couple days or a few days later, on Monday the 11th, evacuations were ordered in Kahului. Here, this was taken on the 11th, and this is a bomb squad. And they also use one of these things to detonate. I don't know if they detonated anything. I'm not really sure. And here's the Maui Now report on that. Now we have a picture found on July 22nd. I believe this was the one that they saw and they took a picture of and they released it to the public. And this one was found in Kahului in front of a school. And from what we understand now, it was found near the suspect's home. And speaking of suspects, on the 10th, a man named Robert D Moran was arrested, detained on the 10th. And he has a long rap sheet, and I'll play the clip of him.
Well, new details tonight regarding the man arrested in connection with the investigation into an improvised explosive devices over on Maui.
And we're getting our first look at the suspect tonight. Maui police say 47-year-old Robert D Moran of Kahului was arrested on Saturday on a federal warrant. As we told you last week, a car was hit by an explosive device in Pukalani, which damaged the vehicle. The woman inside the vehicle was not injured. A check of court records reveals that D Moran is set to be in court this week for a motion to dismiss a meth case, and he's also set to go to jury trial in October in a separate drug case. We've reached out to the FBI for answers as well, and we'll let you know once we hear back.
And then we have another report kind of going into how they figured out who to arrest or who they think was responsible.
Robert D Moran is also under investigation for 2 other bombing incidents. He made his first appearance in federal court today.
Court records. 47-year-old Robert D Moran of Kahului has 30 prior convictions, including a drug conviction, abuse of a family member, and terroristic threatening. He was arrested Saturday and faces 2 federal charges: possessing an unregistered destructive device and attempting to damage, by means of explosives, property affecting interstate commerce. According to court documents released Tuesday morning, Maui police found custom fireworks, ammunition, and other items that could be used to make a bomb at D Moran's home in January 2022 while executing a search warrant. Police got D Moran's fingerprints during this search, which documents say they used to connect him with this homemade bomb found July 23rd on Lono Avenue near Kahului Elementary School. FBI agents found 2 fingerprints on the clear packing tape on this bomb and matched it to D Moran. Court documents also state authorities used cell phone towers to show a prepaid phone associated with D Moran was near the school that morning. Maui police also found 2 more IEDs on August 7th and 8th, similar to the one found in July. On the 7th, an explosion damaged the guardrail in Kula. On the 8th, this SUV was damaged in an explosion in Pukalani. In court documents, authorities say they have text messages from D Moran to another person on August 6th. D Moran states, "Think I gotta go set off some explosions, make me feel better." The person replied, "You going to set off the grenade one?" D Moran replied, "Nope, never find the target yet." The charges are connected to the first bomb found near Kahului Elementary. D Moran's preliminary hearing, set for August 27th, he'll be held without bail till then. If convicted, he faces up to 30 years in prison.
All right, and then very shortly, we're going to play some commentary that we got from Clyde Holokai that we recorded earlier. And I also want to play this other clip, and this happened more recently. I believe this was a couple nights ago. A woman caught a man trying to set some trucks on fire that was in her garage, or in her driveway, and she ended up scaring him away, and he ran off. But they also they found a bottle with this oil in it, and I'll play the security camera of what they recorded. So if you missed that in the beginning, you see the guy, the suspect or the perpetrator riding a bike, and he gets off, and then he splashes a couple of the cars with this black liquid, and there's a picture of that right here. So our understanding is he was planning to set these cars on fire, but he was caught, and so he ran off. And Clyde is going to give some feedback on what he thinks about that. Hi, Clyde. Thank you so much for joining us and lending your expertise on this situation we have here. So I wanted to get your opinion with all the years that you have with the Maui Police Department on what you thought or what you think about these crimes going on. So how serious are these events? And have you heard of this happening in Maui before?
Not with explosive devices. The fact that the FBI was involved during the investigation shows how serious the events are. Normally, what would happen is we would handle the investigation, and at the end of the investigation, or even during, if we feel like there's going to be a federal nexus, then we would be consulting with them, and they'll be at the most maybe overseeing it. But at the end, then we would decide whether or not the feds were going to adopt it, or we're going to take it at the state level, depending on which prosecution had more teeth. Yeah.
Okay.
The fact that they were here while the investigation was active and actively involved shows just how serious this was. And what was the date that the first one was found? The first device was found by the school?
I think it was July 22nd was the first one that the school, Kahului Elementary School.
The one up country where the car was damaged.
That was the 8th.
Okay. So here's my thing with that. With any investigation, where there's some sort of public safety issue, especially in cases like this where you're not sure who this person is, and you obviously work in every angle to find out, which could include confidential informants coming forward. There are certain things, because the investigation is active, that you really want to keep from the public. But you need to weigh it out with the public safety aspect of this, and just how much damage or injury could be caused if the public is unaware. Because if you look at where the first one was set, near a school, populated area. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that was actually not too far from the suspect's house, from D Moran's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that area over there is very tight, close area, very populated. And of course, you mentioned school, and there's kids running around. If there was any suspicion that this was going to continue, they would have had to start, I believe, weighing out the balance of, okay, maybe we should let people know that something's afoot, because ultimately, nobody's going to look harder than the public. And in many investigations in the past, they actually become our eyes and ears. And
so you think it's strange that they didn't make a public service announcement to the media?
After the first one, because maybe they thought it was an isolated incident and it didn't explode. But when you get the second one, and the devices appear the same, something should have been said. And there was the only thing that I'm aware of is scuttlebutt and talking that was going on through social media.
Right. They didn't have anything official.
No, I know that the FBI put out a press release, and it said several times that it was with the department, but the department has several ways to get things, many ways to get things out through social media. Instagram, the Facebook. Crime Stoppers is a highly underutilized tool. Right? When I was a commander in the Criminal Investigations Division, and as a detective, I would utilize these guys all the time with phenomenal results.
Right.
So
So if you were in the department, you would have done something more public.
if I was in charge,
After the first.
oh, definitely. Now again, we have to be very careful about what we release. There is definitely a balance, but ultimately, we need to always err on the side of the public safety.
Okay. All right. And then what do you think the motive for whoever's doing this was? And given that the big explosion was on the 8th, which is the 1-year mark of the Lahaina fire.
I'm not sure. Without knowing more about this case, right now it looks like somebody just trying to, for lack of a better term, make trouble and vent. Even with that text message, he didn't specifically say. And again, if given enough time, I'm sure he would have had a bigger target. So I'm glad they stopped him sooner.
Mm-hmm.
With that target, I'm sure we'll be able to see more so what his motives were. But
okay, because when I saw those text messages, given that he has such a long record, he should know that information could be found, could be tracked to him. Why would you put something so incriminating on a text?
I will say this: this is coming from experience working with guys with a history like this. And a lot of these guys that I've talked to said they're comfortable in prison. They're comfortable in prison. They're uncomfortable. They cannot assimilate to outside life. Name I've never personally run into this Bobby D Moran. I've heard his name many with regards to drug investigations and things like that. So,
do you think he was just a lone person acting on his own, or do you think that there are other people involved?
my personal opinion, other people. I'll be very surprised if he was by himself.
Okay. Why do you say that? It's just what you've seen in the past?
You reach a new level of criminal sophistication when you go from fireworks to actually learning and putting together these bombs. That's just what they are, right? That doesn't happen on your own over here. If you look at the situations or the places, the first place he did it was a very populated area. Second place was up country, populated, but at night, a little different. I wouldn't be surprised if at each area he was watching. See, because again, if you look at the text messages, what is he trying to do? He's upset.
Right.
I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to blow some things up. Why would you not stay to watch? In a lot of situations where we have arsons, the arsonist will come back to the scene to watch the response of the firefighters and the officers. He wants to see his work. And if maybe he started off by himself, my opinion is by the time things really started to get rolling, there were other people involved because of his braggadocious ways.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to look for the other ones, or you think they're going to just get their one guy and
I'll be very surprised if the investigation is over. I'll be very surprised if the investigation is over. It shouldn't be. Not right now.
They'll continue looking. Okay. All right. Well, that was the main thing I wanted to ask you today. So, was there anything else you wanted to comment on these crimes going on? And does it seem like it's just getting kind of out of control? Like this type of thing, I've never heard of it happening in Oahu and on Maui. It's just
it is
odd.
It is unfortunately getting out of control for a number of different reasons. It is, and it's being underreported. You know, um,
Why do you
one,
think it's gotten to this point?
there's with everything going on within the department. Um, there's multiple reasons, but I think one of the biggest reasons is there's no accountability. It starts at the top. There's no accountability by anybody. Accountability and discipline, things like that. That's not the enemy of morale. That's not. It creates nothing but less structure and more room for people to screw up and not
Right.
care. Not care. I mean,
Yeah.
I shared with you that article about from Instagram about the lady whose car was trying to be lit on fire.
Right.
Didn't even take the. You have an arson one attempted. That's a felony. So and plus that's a neighborhood area. If that was to catch fire, how many people would be at risk?
Right. They didn't want to take fingerprints or do
Yeah, and
anything.
fortunate. I mean, and look at how this case was broken. Fingerprints off of the explosive device.
Yeah.
And as an officer, I was there, and I remember. Sometimes you get so busy, you're at a stabbing or something big, and you're getting pulled away. But that doesn't mean you're going to do a halfway decent job. The department is losing its crime fighters, and they're
Yeah.
all report writers. You're going to see more and more situations like we had seen that trying to set the car on fire situation where they just ain't doing it. And again, there's no accountability.
Yeah. They just don't care.
But they'll report when there's a tree down on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They'll report when there's high water or something. But those big things, and I remember from the very beginning, the chief saying how he will control the narrative. And when he first sat with us, he found out that we had reduced crime by something like 28% in the 1 year prior to him coming. And he got excited. He stood up and he said, "This is the kind of stuff that you can really build on and run on as a chief. You guys should have said." You don't think that way, But if he's looking at that and he's thinking that's going to make him look so good, what does it say when crime increases in his mind?
Right.
He's thinking that it's going to make him look bad.
So maybe he doesn't want to make these announcements. He doesn't want people to know.
That's my opinion. And the thing is, certain things like this, certain things you cannot help. It's going to happen, But there's other things where, okay, yeah, this happened, but like the Hanawa, for example, this is what happened. However, now we're going to increase patrols. We have plainclothes units going out there, trying to set people up, and we've made arrests in this area. There you go. That's all the public wants to know. They don't expect anybody to come in and stop crime 100%. What they do expect is when crimes such as these happen, action is taken with results.
Something happened. Yeah, and I think it's starting to get out to the tourists that the islands aren't as safe as they used to be. Because when I was growing up, it was considered one of the safest places to go on vacation. And now I don't think that it has that same reputation. Even on Oahu, I'm hearing the crime has gotten so bad. Violent crimes, really serious crimes.
I agree.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Clyde. I would love having your opinion, and I'm sure we'll see you back another time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
guys too.
All right. So I wanted to make this report because these particular crimes I don't feel are being reported on by a lot of stations, although a couple of national news networks did report on the explosives, but I wanted to just make sure as many people know that there is a increase of crime on Maui, I believe on Oahu too. That's what I've been hearing. And historically, Hawaii, especially an island like Maui, is pretty safe as far as violent crimes and these kind of things we're seeing. And so it's just very disheartening to see crime going on so rampantly. And in the case of that truck, very little is being done about that. I mean, they're not really investigating and trying to find out who that guy was. And it could have been a really bad situation if someone didn't scare him off. They could have caused a massive fire, and it could have, hurt people. So that is the main thing I wanted to share today. So thank you all for being here. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you have subscribed, if you can check to see if you're still subscribed, I would really appreciate it. So with that, thank you all for being here, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.